Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Friday night Smackdown review. A lot of stuff happening on the show tonight. A lot to talk about Smackdown tonight. So, where do we kick it off, huh? Where do we kick off this edition? I almost thought Fastlane was this Sunday, but Fastlane is next Sunday. Okay, so we do kick it off with Edge, of course, yeah, the Royal Rumble winner. Basically, talking about his match with Roman coming up at WrestleMania, but he talked about everything that's been going on with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan with the contract signing at the end of the show tonight, and talked about how Reigns and Paul Heyman are spin doctors, basically, trying to spin anything around, and that Bryan, claiming to be the main event of WrestleMania, say he needs it more than him. Basically, he has a problem with that also. So Edge basically said, "Let me remind you who I am. This is a guy, ultimate opportunist," and he started naming several opponents he has went against throughout almost 4 decades. He says, from the Undertaker to John Cena, Triple H, Terry Funk, Eddie Guerrero. I think he said Dusty Rhodes, I believe. Like, many names, many big names Edge has faced ever since he got into the company. So it's countless names, but that's just a few of them. But Edge basically talked about how wrestling countless times each week, and talking about what he has done, and he's I'm back here not because I have to be, because he loves this, he says. And he told Bryan not to say that he doesn't deserve to be in the main event of WrestleMania because he loves it more. And then than the matches you just had, saying I only had matches over the last 3 months all because you thought you wrestled more than me. But Daniel Bryan came out then, basically telling Edge, yes, you are an ultimate opportunist and whatnot. And I've gone in my own business in my career also. But Bryan says he has an infinite amount of respect for him and everything Edge has done. But basically said, when I challenged Roman for the title, it's not about you, because he was demoralized when he lost to Roman Reigns, Elimination Chamber, and watched Edge point at the WrestleMania sign, and basically said, it's not you. Because then Bryan went on and said, this could be my last chance. This could be my last WrestleMania. This could be my last main event. And he says he doesn't know if it will be, but he's going to give it all his best to be back in the main event of WrestleMania. And that Edge, you you have your spot in the main event. Whereas, I have to go to Fastlane and beat Roman Reigns for the Universal title in order to be the main event of WrestleMania. And basically, Edge said, listen, I know Reigns beat you Elimination Chamber. He understands the circumstances, but a win is a win. And Edge says, hey, I outlasted 29 other men, including you, to win the Royal Rumble, all right? And, I respect you. And, but don't, this ain't how it works. He says, you're better than that, but you ain't better than me. So very heavy on Edge versus Bryan here, especially throughout this show tonight. Almost like they're setting up a match between these two. One would think, could it be a triple threat match at WrestleMania between Edge, Bryan, and Roman Reigns? Possibly, I don't know, but I don't think Bryan's win the title at Fastlane. I really don't believe that. I still think it's going to be Edge versus Reigns, but on a possibility, it could be a triple threat match, though, the way they're laying it out. Next 8-man tag, Rey Mysterio, Dominic, and the Street Profits went against Rude, Ziggler, Otis, and Chad Gable. Okay tag match. Not bad of an 8-man, I'll give it that. It was okay. Um, what was it? Ford got the win on Rude, pinning him, probably get a shot for the tag titles. Paul Heyman was outside Roman's office. Jey Uso tried to come up in there, but Heyman says, no, I don't think you want to talk to you, man, all right? Let's, Uso say, hey, man, things are cool. I talked to him yesterday, but you know how stressful Fridays are, okay? Listen, man, cage match and everything, and Uso's like, you know what? I'm going to hop up around here. I'm going to come back later, all right? And Heyman said he'll be happy to see you more at the time. So Reigns basically pissed with his cousin right now. Also, they did talk about Molly Holly going into the Hall of Fame. I know they showed a clip of Hurricane inducting her, or Mighty Molly, if you all know. So yeah, that's cool for Molly Holly. I like Molly Holly. Okay, very underrated. I remember Mighty Molly. I do. I don't remember much of her in WCW as Miss Madness and whatnot, I believe, but I mostly remember the Molly Holly and what her head being shaved, and what was the gimmick where she was like trying to wear more clothes on the women, stop wearing less clothes and whatnot. So Molly Holly, very underrated talent. Good for her. I got no problem with this. So I know they're trying to put both the class from last year due to the pandemic they couldn't be able to, and this year's class. So good for Molly Holly. That's not bad. Next though, Seth Rollins was interviewed by Caleb Braxton. How's that deleting Twitter going for her, huh? Hey, man, she wanted the clout. She couldn't handle the pressure. So, some would say she brought that on herself. So, wow, deleted Twitter 2 times. Really couldn't handle that criticism. Seth Rollins basically said he's done with Cesaro and everything, but once she informed him that Cesaro was going against Murphy again, basically Rollins says, I think I'll keep an eye out for that tonight. They showed Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at a store, which she looked at her phone most of the time. Baszler looked very bored. I guess Nia Jax went to basically buy him suits, clothes, and everything, calling him Reggie and having a good time and whatnot. Um, she slapped him on his ass and and everything, and Reginald sat on her lap, says, I don't know how I could possibly repay you, and basically they just start playing this like sexy music. Basically, she wants to fuck him. That's what it looks like, and it's what my co-host said this tonight. He texted, basically she's tricking on him just to fuck him. So yeah, she's tricking to fuck to have sex with him. So did they do this with like Carmella and James Ellsworth? If I remember, I swear that happened. So yeah, I could have swore they've done that, but yeah, she's basically buying stuff for him. So yeah, she wants to fuck him. So I'm gonna spend all my money on this dude, and hopefully he'll do basically. Yeah, I don't need to explain all this to you. You know how this goes. So yeah, she wants to fuck him. But moving on, no. Cesaro went against Murphy. Seth Rollins sat in the chair and watched. Cesaro won basically by DQ. Seth Rollins came in, stomped him 2 times, to put his head in a chair, but the referees and staff stopped it and whatnot. Rollins left pissed off as he ran to Shinsuke Nakamura, basically having a stare down with him before he walked off again. So really don't know where this feud is going with Cesaro and Seth, but we'll see what happens with it. Kevin Owens, we haven't seen him in a while. I guess was going out to do the Kevin Owens show. Basically, Sami Zayn stopped him wanting to be in his documentary and everything. We've been friends and whatnot a long time. We put this on YouTube, do massive numbers. Owen said he'll think about it. Next, I know they showed Jey Uso walking around the back. Edge stopped him, aren't you tired of being a subordinate and everything? You're walking around here putting your head down. What does your family think about this, huh? What do your kids think about this? But Jey Uso got pissed off at Edge. Basically said you need to fall in line and be at home with your family because basically you won't be enjoying it after Reigns beats you at WrestleMania. It was time for the Kevin Owens show, which I'm surprised is the only best thing they have Kevin Owens to do right now, since after the whole title thing, Elimination Chamber, basically he was there. He said it's been a rough few months for him physically and mentally, but he's not down and out, and he wants to keep fighting until there's nothing left. But tonight it's not about him, it's about his guests, Bianca and Sasha out there. Basically, as they said now, they're challenging for the tag titles at Fastlane next week. And, you guys could be like Shawn Michaels and John Cena. If you remember, during that time, they were tag team champions going into WrestleMania that year. Owen says another, a lot of tension with you guys going on right now. And about Reginald, which Bianca said, hey, man, that's Sasha's problem. He's always infatuated with her. But Sasha said, I can't help if he has a crush on me. Bianca said, that's the problem. You ain't focused on the match. You focused on this dude. And Sasha said, don't worry about the match, okay? I'm the Michael Jordan of this division. Maybe someday you'll be LeBron. That was a good shot. But Bianca said, I respect you and what you've done, but that's why I chose you, all right? Because, Banks said this whole 2 belts, Banks said she will be 2 belts, Banks, again. And when she wins the tag titles, but Bianca said, you paved the road, but I got my own lane. Next thing you know, Jax, Baszler, and Reginald walk out. Then Natalya and Tamina. Oh boy, I got something to say about this. Tamina, folks, she pinned the challenger going for the title at WrestleMania. Wow, where is this Tamina push coming from, man? She's been racking up wins almost every other week. Now she's beat the challenger going into Mania. What the fuck going on with that? Someone tell me. I want to know. That's something new. But yeah, like I said, Reginald, he got involved. Tamina rolled her up, and that's very surprising. And then basically, as they were pissed off about the match right after, Sasha blamed Bianca, saying, it's because of you. We took the L. And basically called Sasha called Bianca a rookie then after that. Next, we got the return of Big E, who had a crutch and neck brace and a whole bunch of wraps on, but he tore all those off and headed to the ring, cutting his promo on Cruz. Talk about as he laid up in a medical facility. Biggie said there's no coming back for Cruz. And, I got to go Old Testament. I got to go biblical on you, okay? It's going to be eye for an eye now. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to maim you, all right? Beating you ain't enough. I'm going to end you, and I'm going to give you what you deserve. And it don't need to wait. We can do this right now. He called out Apollo Cruz. Come on, man. The title right here. Come get it. But Cruz didn't come out, and he's not surprised. So, you know what? Anybody that want a shot this title, open challenge, still open. Corbin came out then, of course, wanting a shot at the title, but he doesn't want to tear up his suit. Sami Zayn basically accepted it and then brought the documentary crew with him, which Sami was happy, but then Big E started fighting him then. They went to commercial, which the match came back on. This was for the Intercontinental title. Big E got the window with the big ending, whatnot, but right after Cruz's music hit, Big E was looking for Cruz. He thought he was behind him, but Cruz came over from somewhere else and ended up attacking Biggie and hit him with the steel steps as he stood up on the steel steps. So basically, once again, Cruz gave Big E the steal. One of the more interesting feuds on SmackDown. I am looking forward to this match. I feel like it will be a WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, though, between Big E and Apollo Cruz. So looking forward to that if that happens, or maybe at Fastlane. Caleb Braxton interviewed Nia Jackson Reginald again. Basically, Nia Jackson should become a double champion until Kayla, three's a crowd. But hey, Kayla may want to delete her Twitter again. I think we all know that. But in the last part of the show, contract signing between Bryan and Roman Reigns, as they talked about the match coming up. Well, Pierce said, everything here what it needs to be, so you guys can sign. Bryan said he was excited to sign this contract. Roman said, you don't want to do this, okay? I know what you're trying to do, but you don't want to sign that contract, and I'm not going to. But Bryan, said, how about this, man? I'm just going to taunt you and everything, and and basically said, hey man, I tapped out your cousin. Now I'm gonna tap out you. I could be the head of the table. Is he scared of me? Is he scared of me? I would be great, right? The Samoan family and whatnot. But next thing you know, Uso ended up taking the contract, and I dropped my camera, of course. So what's going on with that shit? He dropped the camera, but basically he flipped the table and everything, gave the contract to Adam Pearce and says, no, I'm tired of you with this disrespect and disrespecting me and whatnot. How about this next week? I need to be the enforcer for this match coming up at Fastlane, okay? But Edge came out and said, that's a great idea. But how about this? Next week, since I haven't been on SmackDown and wrestled in almost over 11 years now, Jey Uso versus Edge. Whoever wins will be the special enforcer at Fastlane. Pierce said, all right, that's official then. Next week, everybody started brawling then. Bryan took out Uso before he tried to go for Reigns, but Edge was fighting Reigns then. Bryan got in the way, but Edge pushed him back, and when Reigns was out of the ring, Edge turned around. He got hit with a running knee. Why does this camera keep falling? I have zero clue what's going on with that, but that's kind of strange, but that's 3 times now. But, Bryan kneed him, and basically, that closed the show then. So, very more focused on Edge and Bryan tonight, since it looks like this leading to a match there. So who's going to face Roman. That's probably one of the biggest things of the night. I enjoyed Big E's promo. That was good. And the whole feud between him and Cruz right now was not bad. The Sasha Bianca stuff, I'm kind of up and down on. I don't know why they got Nia Jax trying to fuck Reginald. I still find it laughably hilarious. Why is Tamina getting wins over Bianca before WrestleMania and she won the Rumble? Makes no sense, but I don't know. What else was really on this show? It's basically kind of it when you think about it, but not a bad show, I will say. Man, I am having a bad night with this. This is really fucking with me right now. Why won't you stay up? Stay up. Look at me, I'm talking to a camera right here. What's going on with that? But one thing I do want to address before I go, a couple things. I didn't get a chance to say this the other night. Or maybe I said this on NXT. I know they said WrestleMania and tickets are going on sale, so apparently they are going to be letting fans in. Like I think I said this before, if they can remain safe, then everything should be good if they follow the right procedures and whatnot. So, okay, the Super Bowl was able to let in people, so I guess they fiending for fans to want to come back to WrestleMania. Don't know how many people will be out there, but we'll see what happens. You know what's crazy also about this day? I didn't notice, but 1 year ago today was the first time, I guess WWE or maybe just all wrestling in general had to start doing wrestling without fans when you're doing an empty performance center. Because I remember that somebody said the other day was like this was the 1 year anniversary of when that was the last time Raw had a crowd out there. So over a year, we still don't really have wrestling fans back at a full capacity, as I should say, though. And listen, I'm not going to go into every wrestling company right now, but I will say this: looking back on it, I'm almost surprised it's been a year already, and we're still going through this pandemic and whatnot with still no fans. Honestly, in a way, I'm not surprised it has lasted this long. Some people would have thought would have stopped a long time ago, but apparently not. I will say this. I don't know when fans will ever come back. And honestly, I kind of stopped really trying to guess a long time ago. Now, obviously, they are going to be back for WrestleMania, of course, but I looked at this a long time ago, looking back on that first night on SmackDown. I didn't know what was going to happen when this whole pandemic was just shutting everything down and whatnot. There was really an uncertain future when it came to wrestling, and that goes for any company and whatnot. And yeah, maybe some companies let a little fans in, maybe, but some are still not. I can go back when the only people that were in town with wrestling was either WWE or AEW, honestly. And unless you didn't have shows that it's like this. If a show was taped that still had a crowd with it, after that, basically you were kind of in limbo, and that goes for like ROH and Impact and whatnot. Then yeah, Impact were able to come back. They had no fans then. Ring of Honor was out the game for a long time. New Japan was out the game for a minute until they kind of came back in somewhere later in the summer. I know it still took a while for MLW to come back. NWA is just now coming back. I'm trying to see what other company I'm forgetting, like indie shows. Basically, it's mostly a lot of best of shows, or especially what Ring of Honor was doing. Because, like I said, the only people that were mostly in town during that time was either WWE or AEW or Impact later on. And, like I said, a lot of people took off. But I look back to that first night of empty arena wrestling. I remember that promo Triple H did about the uncertain times. I remember him shooting a lot during on commentary with Michael Cole. I remember John Cena coming out to no crowd doing that promo with Bray Wyatt, which that was actually good without a crowd. From Sasha and Bailey being the champions to Mojo talking about signing Gronk. It was weird. Like looking back the first couple times, especially through those Raw, SmackDowns, and NXTs without a crowd. There was no telling what was going to happen. There was no telling what was going to happen with WrestleMania during that time. And WrestleMania still ended up happening anyways, which I can even, go back on that. It's probably one of the weirdest WrestleManias I've ever watched, given no crowd. Like I said, at first it felt odd. It really did through those first maybe month, I was gonna say, or two. It felt weird without a crowd, but after a while, I got used to it. I said it before. They should have just put the wrestlers out there or the performance school students as fans, had them slap and make noise. Yeah, it's not a real crowd, but hey, AEW kind of did it, and I would have minded that during the time. Now nowadays there's a Thunderdome and whatnot, but I look back at the Performance Center. It felt good and bad at the same time. On one point, you saw a lot of people trash talk, but at the same time, like, hey, this would have looked good. This you would have would have been great if it was a reaction for that. It would have been great if it was a reaction for this, and it's crazy. So I'm not gonna go into the whole outbreaks of COVID and throughout the many months over the Performance Center and whatnot, but I liked them over there before they went to the Thunderdome. I like when they put the wrestling school students out there in the big plexiglass thing just to bang on the stuff before the Thunderdome. I liked it because at least it felt like an authentic crowd noise, and it wasn't fake crowd noise. Like I said, you know, I thought that worked. Because, like, hey, if it's no real crowd, at least try to make some type of real noise out there. I thought that looked better. Because, honestly, like I said, after a month or two, I stopped giving a fuck about the fans. I did. I was like, you know what? I got used to it after a while. I know some people still didn't, but after a while, I just got used to it. I could watch it without the fans. I know some people that couldn't do it, and it didn't make sense. And like I said, when it first happened, it just felt eerie. It really did. It just felt just so much silence. It took time to get used to. But, looking in the current times right now, we're still technically in empty arena wrestling. We're just adding fake noises and done, video screens and whatnot. I'm not going to tell you a timeline of how long this will still go. Probably still in the next year. I don't know. And I'm not going to keep trying to take a lot of guesses and whatnot. I'm not going to go into, and I know WWE had an ad about the whole vaccine tonight. I'm not going to go in my thoughts on that because I'm sure some people are going to agree and not agree with me. All I can say is keep your mask on and stay safe out there. That's all I'm really going to say about that. But, it's crazy that it's been 1 year since we started doing, when this whole pandemic basically had to start doing empty arena wrestling and whatnot. And, like I said, this was the day when SmackDown first started doing it. So it's crazy how years just passed by and people thought this shit would have been over a long time ago. But hey, we still in this pandemic, man. All I can tell you, stay safe out here, all right? But other than that, that's my review of SmackDown. I am out of here. I see you guys later. Peace, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Check out any other review that has been posted up throughout the week and whatnot. And yeah, I shall see you guys later, okay? And I'm going to go check out this South Park episode about this vaccination special because I heard it was funny. And I'm going to go watch that right now. See you guys later. I'm out. Peace.